Good day, brilliant learners and curious minds. This is Academia BSB, your favorite spot for leveling up your English. And hey, it's Tuesday, July 8th, 2025.
Indeed. And we're ready to unpack some really fascinating linguistic landscapes today. Not a lecture, promise. Think of it more like your backstage pass to decoding English.
Totally. We're cracking open the vault today, Academia BSB's English Conversations course, specifically the one for Mireli and Sophia. These two are powerhouses, seriously focused on nailing English for uni admissions and, big academic careers. We're going to explore how they're becoming like total word wizards and deadline warriors.
Precisely. That B1 level on the CEFRL scale, it's not just about chatting. Mireli and Sophia are mastering some very specific skills. We're talking understanding complex lectures, tackling dense academic reading, interacting confidently in seminars, and producing really clear, persuasive writing. It's quite the expedition, language acquisition.
Right. Every little grammar point, every new word, it all builds up. So today, we're digging into the tools, the tricks, the mindset shifts. Everything they need to command English. Let's get this exploration started. Word wizards and deadline warriors. Your guide to mastering English grammar and mindset. Okay, let's kick things off with grammar, the building blocks. That subtle but honestly super important difference between say and tell.
Yes. This one, it trips people up constantly, doesn't it? Especially, like you mentioned, maybe coming from Portuguese, where it's often just one verb. The key with say, I think, is that it focuses on the words themselves, just reporting what was uttered.
Exactly. Like, if you quote someone directly, "You're right, he said to me." See? You need that "to" if you mention who he was talking to. He said to me.
Right. And if the listener isn't mentioned, maybe in reported speech, you often just use say, maybe with that. The weather forecast says it will be sunny. No "to" there. The focus is on the message content.
Yep. Or, like common phrases, say thank you. Simple. Or more dramatic. Don't say a word. It's about delivering the words.
But then tell, that's a different animal. Tell comes in when you're reporting speech, and you mention the person spoken to. And here's the crucial bit. That person is a direct object. So, they told me. No "to." They told me they were looking for someone. Me is the object. It's direct.
Okay, yeah, I see. No preposition needed. Which is different from how you might translate it directly from Portuguese, maybe.
Exactly. That's a common snag. Tell implies the transfer to someone.
And it's even more direct sometimes, right? Like, tell followed by an infinitive, like a command.
Spot on. She told me to wait. Or, I told everybody not to come late. It's instructing someone. And if you have both the person and the thing being told, it's person plus object. I'm going to tell them the truth.
Got it. And the passive form?
I was told.
Yes. I was told to bring the receipt. Very useful, very common. Or just connecting. Tell me about your trip. It's all about that transmission of info to a specific person.
Okay, sticking with grammar. Let's talk reported speech. Indirect speech. Your spell for replaying conversations without hitting copy-paste. Good way to put it. And it's vital for academics, right? Summarizing research, citing sources. You need to reframe info accurately. The main thing to grasp is the tense shift when you report something said in the past.
Right. So present simple in the direct quote
becomes past simple. If Brenda said, "I walked to school," you report, "Brenda told me she walked to school." Simple enough.
And present continuous. "I'm going to a party tomorrow."
Becomes past continuous. She said she was going to a party the following day. Notice tomorrow changed too.
Ah, good catch. And what about past tenses? If someone said, "We went to Oxford yesterday," or "We have been."
Often those consolidate into past perfect when reported. She said they had been to Oxford the day before, though sometimes just using the past simple "they went" is fine too, depending on context. It sort of streamlines the timeline from the reporting perspective.
Okay, so the tenses shift back. And you mentioned tomorrow changing to the following day. What else changes?
Oh yeah, the time and place words do this little dance. Now becomes then, today becomes that day, this becomes that, here becomes there. And pronouns, obviously. I am becomes he or she. It all shifts to the reporter's perspective. It sounds complex, but it becomes quite natural once you get the hang of it.
It maintains clarity, I guess. So everyone knows when and where relative to the reporting time.
Exactly. Crucial for clear academic communication.
Which brings us neatly to active versus passive voice. This isn't just grammar for grammar's sake, right? It's strategic.
Absolutely. It's all about focus. Active voice. The subject does the action. Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. Leo's the star.
Simple enough.
Passive voice.
Good.
The subject receives the action. The Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Now the painting is the star. The focus is shifted.
And that by Leonardo da Vinci part, the agent, You don't always need it, do you?
Yeah.
Correct. That's often the whole point of using passive. You use it when the doer is unknown, my wallet was found, or unimportant. Carnival is celebrated in February. We know people celebrate it. The who isn't the point.
Or when you want to sound like formal or impersonal.
Precisely. Think official announcements. Passengers are requested to proceed to gate 9. Or scientific writing, where the process or result is more important than who did the experiment. The solution was heated to 100 degrees Celsius.
So it's a stylistic choice, often used for objectivity. How does that compare to, say, formal writing in Brazil? Is passive used as much?
That's a great question. While passive exists and is used in Portuguese, sometimes in formal Brazilian writing, there might be a stronger preference for the active voice, even in contexts where English might default to passive for that sense of impartiality or focus on the outcome. It's a subtle cultural linguistic difference.
Interesting. Okay, grammar foundations laid, let's switch gears. How about we crack open the latest vocabulary list? The new words me, Rayleigh, and Sophia just picked up.
Excellent. Let's see what linguistic gold they've unearthed.
Okay, first up. To volunteer. That's offering your services freely.
Exactly. Often linked to charity work, unpaid work for a good cause. Very important in many English-speaking cultures, especially for university applications, as you know.
Totally. Then the flip side, to get paid, receive money for work, and salary, that fixed regular payment. The dream.
Ah, indeed. Then socially, to invite someone somewhere, and the noun invitation. Basic, but you use them constantly.
We also have to speak versus speech. Speak is the action. Speech can be a formal talk or just the ability to speak.
Good distinction. And to close, like shut a door, versus to shut down, which usually means ceasing operation, like a shop closing for good.
And to move out, leaving your home, then reason the explanation why. And rent paying to use property.
And somewhere, an unspecified place, free, either no cost or not confined. And to let, which can mean allow, but also, crucially in places like the UK, means to rent out property, a room to let.
Good one. Bills for services like electricity, tax money for the government. A housekeeper manages a household.
These terms carry so much cultural weight, too. Rent in London versus aluguel in Recife. Different worlds, different implications.
True. And a quick pronunciation check. Watch versus wash. Got to get those sounds right. Watch TV, wash clothes.
Very common slip-up. Also, backyard and the garden behind the house. And finally, bullshit.
Whoa. Okay, explain that one carefully.
Right. It's highly informal, it's slang, means nonsense, lies, false talk. Definitely not for your academic essays. Use with extreme caution, if at all. It's good to recognize, though.
Good to know. Good disclaimer.
Right.
Vocabulary covered. Let's hit pronunciation for these new words.
Let's fine-tune those sounds. Precision is key.
First, through verses, though. We touched on this, but it's worth repeating. I walk through the door.
Right. Through a ball. Unvoice the long ooh sound, but the, do, voice the longest sound. They look similar, sound totally different. Crucial distinction.
That old table's a bit wobbly.
Wobbly. Clear rule at the start, like water, not a V. Short O sound. It means unsteady, like my conviction after only one coffee.
Huh. Next, definitely. I'm definitely going.
Definitely. 4 syllables. That middle I can be soft, like a schwa. The final E is often silent. Not definitely. Getting this right makes you sound, well, much more definite.
And unconsciously. He unconsciously tapped his foot.
Unconsciously. Stress on the second syllable, con. Clear shears sound. Again, break it down. Precision enhances credibility, especially in, say, academic presentations.
And finally, the off pair. Enough and tough. That's enough. It was tough.
Right. Both end with that uff sound, like stuff, not like dough or through. English off is famously tricky, but these two rhyme. Mastering these common ones is a big step.
Great breakdown. Okay, moving on from individual words, let's talk about using language naturally, those everyday phrases.
Language usage. Where the rubber meets the road, as they say, makes your English sound authentic.
First up, as soon as possible, or ASAP. Universal code for hurry up.
The unofficial motto of academic deadlines everywhere.
Then, neither one nor the other. Useful for choices. Want tea or coffee?
Neither one nor the other right now, thanks. Maybe water. Need to hydrate before the next flight.
Always thinking travel. Okay?
Yeah,
It depends. Depending on, for uncertainty. So is the conference confirmed for June?
Well, it depends. Mostly depending on international travel restrictions easing up. Fingers crossed.
Next, asking for more detail. Please expand on your idea. Very useful in discussions. I think we should focus the next session entirely on phrasal verbs.
Interesting proposition. Please expand on your idea. Why just phrasal verbs? What's the strategic thinking there?
Always analytical. Okay, then we have problem solving. How to deal with a bud. And more lifestyle focused, how to get well dressed.
Both essential life skills, arguably. Knowing how to deal with unexpected travel delays is perhaps more critical for me than how to get well dressed, but, looking sharp helps.
This next one connects back to our grammar chat. We do things versus we have things done for us. Active versus passive implication. I always bake my own bread.
Admirable. Me. I have my bread baked for me by a lovely artisan bakery down the street. It's about efficient delegation.
Right. And a critical one, especially for accuracy. To do a surgery versus to undergo a surgery.
Crucial distinction. Surgeons do surgery. Patients undergo surgery. Getting this wrong sounds quite strange, especially in a medical context. Precision matters.
Definitely. Then, a grown woman emphasizes adulthood, maturity, and abbreviation to for girlfriend. Standard texting stuff.
And the phrase lucky girl, often used to express a bit of envy or acknowledge someone's good fortune. She got the promotion. Lucky girl.
Lastly, the mechanics. Quotation marks. Those little things or we use for direct speech or quotes, simple but essential for writing clearly.
Indeed. They fence off the exact words someone said or wrote.
Okay, let's add some real spice now.
Yeah.
Idiomatic expressions. Phrases where the literal meaning is just wrong.
The fun part. These really make your English sparkle. Mireli and Sophia had some good ones.
First, a turning point, a moment of big change, right?
Exactly. Like deciding to study abroad, that's often a major turning point in someone's life, completely changes their trajectory.
Absolutely. Next, open up. Means talking more freely, honestly, sharing feelings. You seem quiet. You need to open up if something's wrong.
It's similar to abrir o coração in Portuguese, isn't it? That idea of revealing what's inside. Maybe slightly less poetic in English, but the function is the same.
Good comparison. Then, speak from the heart. Speaking sincerely, genuinely.
Yes. When giving travel advice about a place you truly love, you speak from the heart. It's authentic.
Totally. And finally, break the news. Telling important, often bad news for the first time, gently. Okay, deep breath. Have to break the news. They canceled our favorite TV show.
No. Devastating. Is that the news you were bracing me for? As long as the coffee machine isn't broken, I think I can survive. Commercial break 1.
And we are back. Welcome back, Language Explorers. Just before the break, we tackled the nitty-gritty of say versus tell, navigated reported speech, demystified active and passive voice, loaded up on new vocabulary like volunteer and rent, fine-tuned pronunciation for words like through and wobbly, and played with natural phrases and idioms like ASAP and a turning point.
Quite a workout. Now, to limber up those tongues, let's try a tongue twister using some sounds we just practiced. Sassy Sophia simply says, salaries solve sorrows, saving savvy speakers from senseless social scrambles. Give it a go.
Good one. Okay, let's pivot to the reading section notes. This one, wow, it really captured that deadline warrior feeling.
Yes, Mireli's text about the final push. Let's hear it.
Okay, enthusiastically. By the time Mireli had arrived at the last week of her deadline, she realized she had gone through more stress than she had planned, even though her outline had been ready for a month. Her coffee mug stood half full, her thoughts a bit wobbly, and her fingers typing almost unconsciously. She had definitely written pages of value, but something inside still whispered that it wasn't enough. That quiet inner critic, always tough and loudest at night, had once again shown up. But she breathed deep, stretched her hands, and reminded herself of every challenge she had already conquered. She journaled her growth, shaped her skills and stories, and held her focus like a compass. So when her article finally got published, she smiled. Not because it was perfect, but because she had stayed in the seat, brave and believing, even when her will was wobbling. Seriously, that resonated. The stress, the wobbly thoughts, feeling it's never enough, that is so the reality for ambitious students everywhere, right? Ivy League hopefuls, students aiming for top Brazilian faculties. The pressure is real.
It is real, no doubt. The struggle is palpable in the writing. But for me, what shines even brighter is the resilience. The text isn't just about the stress, it's about pushing through it. That inner critic, it's a universal demon, isn't it? Whether you're facing an exam, a deadline, or navigating a new country. But the act of staying in the seat, as she puts it, that's where the magic happens. That's the growth. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree growth happens, but I don't know, doesn't focusing on staying in the seat sometimes glorify the grind? Like the sheer overwhelming pressure. In the US, in Brazil, the academic world can be absolutely relentless. Sometimes breathing deep just doesn't cut it. It feels more like survival mode.
An interesting point. But are we glorifying the struggle or celebrating the strategy used to overcome it? Look at the text again. It details the challenge, yes, but it highlights the conscious actions. Breathing deep, reminding herself of past victories, holding focus. It's a narrative of shifting from doubt to action, from wobbly to resolute. That, I think, is the crucial lesson here. Not just brute force endurance, but the knowledge that you have the tools and the inner strength to navigate the pressure. It's about building that self-efficacy, transforming the pressure, not just surviving it.
Okay, I see your perspective.
Yeah.
It's about the response to the pressure, the strategic resilience, not just the pressure itself. Winning the mental game. I can get behind that, even if my inner critic needs a stern talking to sometimes.
Mine too. It's a constant negotiation.
Right. Okay, so speaking of expressing yourself under pressure, let's revisit that same text, but focus on the speaking component, purely the sounds this time.
Excellent idea. Let's isolate those highlighted words Miraili used so effectively.
By the time Miraili had arrived at the last week of her deadline, she realized she had gone through more stress than she had planned, even though her outline had been ready for a month. Her coffee mug stood half full, her thoughts a bit wobbly, and her fingers typing almost unconsciously. She had definitely written pages of value, but something inside still whispered that it wasn't enough. That quiet inner critic, always to and loudest at night, had once again shown up.
Okay, let's drill down. Through coffee essay, remember, through. First he's like, through coffee essay, like do. Different sounds, different vowels. Non-negotiable difference.
Professor John, the could have short O.
Unconsciously. Stress on con, clearest sound. Break it down.
Definitely finis only. Remember the I sound, often a schwa was in the middle. Definedly.
And love each SM and toffee, both ending in that sound. Like stuff. Not O or oof. Nailing these specific sounds makes a huge difference in clarity and confidence, especially when you're, say, presenting your research or arguing a point in a seminar. It adds polish.
Definitely adds polish. Okay, let's switch modes to listening and watching. How does absorbing language passively play into all this?
Oh, it's absolutely crucial. Listening practice, especially with real-life native English materials, podcasts like this one, hopefully, lectures, news, it trains your ear for the B1 level and beyond. University lectures aren't scripted textbook dialogues. They're fast, nuanced, full of idioms. You need to build that listening wavelength to keep up and really understand.
And watching. Movies, series, news from English-speaking countries.
Game changer. As a traveler, I see it constantly. It's how you absorb current slang, cultural references, body language, the rhythm of natural conversation. Things textbooks just can't capture. In Brazil, we often get dubbed content, right? Which is fine for entertainment, but watching in the original English, that's your immersion. It's like pre-traveling with your ears and eyes, getting you ready for the real deal, whether that's university abroad or just global communication. It makes the language come alive.
Totally agree. It bridges the gap between the classroom and the real world. Commercial break 2.
Welcome back, insightful listeners. We've just explored the power of authentic listening and watching and sharpened our speaking focus by revisiting Miraili's text. Plus, we had a lively discussion on navigating academic pressure like true deadline warriors.
Now for another linguistic workout. This tongue twister hits some of those tricky sounds again. Though tough texts teach truly tested thoughts. Through trial, talent triumphs, thankfully. Say it slowly first.
Good advice. Okay, let's rewind a bit now and revisit some vocabulary from a past class. Time to see if those foundations are solid for Miraili and Sophia.
Right, these review exercises are key. It's not just about learning new words, but making sure the older ones stick and understanding their nuances and context.
Precisely. It's about building that robust lexicon repertory where you don't just recognize a word, you know how to use it correctly.
Okay, exercise 1 was choose the most appropriate word, like she likes a breakfast with fruit. The best fit was have, right? Emphasizing the routine.
Yes, have breakfast is more idiomatic for the daily ritual than just eat breakfast, although eat isn't strictly wrong. Nuance. Another was the landlord asked for to be paid monthly. That had to be rent.
Got it. Exercise 2 was select the correct sentence. They had pairs like A, she has breakfast with cereal. B, she eats breakfast cereal.
Both are actually okay there, depending on what you want to emphasize. But then A, we live abroad in Canada, versus B, we live abroad, our bedroom. Clearly A is correct. Abroad means overseas, not just outside your room. Tests understanding.
Yes. Exercise 3 was identify the word that doesn't belong. The example was rent apartment topping house.
Topping is the odd one out, clearly. The others relate to housing. This trains semantic categorization, which is how our brains organize vocabulary.
And exercise 4 used would for past habits. On Sundays, we eat pancakes. They needed to fill in would eat.
Exactly. Reinforcing that specific grammatical structure for talking about repeated past actions. These exercises are designed to make the language active and automatic.
Makes sense. Okay, now for some pronunciation review from that same past class, building muscle memory.
Let's tackle this list. Pronoun, saw, horror. Throughout, X through, remarkable, barriers shaped, women, faced, prejudice, overcome, courage, chemist, radioactivity, received, chemistry, saved, countless. Another, activist, inspired, segregated.
Quite a list. Let's pick a few tricky ones.
Yeah.
Whitman.
Yes. That first vowel sound is like the E in win, not O or oo. So different from men. A classic error for Portuguese speakers sounds like woman. Getting win right instantly sounds more natural.
Good tip. How about faced?
Faced. The A is the long A sound as in say or face, not the short A as in fast or cat. So face, not faced. And the ed ending is a taste sound after the voiceless S.
Okay. And prejudice.
Stress on the first syllable. The second E is weak, often a schwa. The U is short. Prejudice, not prejudice.
Throughout versus through again.
Can't emphasize this enough. Through free, going from one side to the other. Throughout freezer, meaning all the way through or during the whole period. That extra 8 sound is crucial. He walked through the park versus he searched throughout the park. Different meanings.
And chemist and chemistry.
The fisser is a hard K sound. Sextress, sextry. Not like in chef.
Yeah.
Like character or school. Another common point of confusion derived from other languages. Nailing these specifics really boosts clarity.
Definitely. Okay, last section before we wrap things up. Writing. Critical skill for university.
Absolutely vital. This exercise asked Miri Lee and Sophia to write a narrative essay about a life-changing conversation, a tall order.
Yeah, and the requirements were specific. Use passive voice, past participles correctly, nail, say, tell, use reporting speech, past tenses, connectors, and an idiom like a turning point. It's basically a mini thesis prep.
Precisely. It forces them to integrate all these different elements into a coherent, meaningful piece of writing. Excellent preparation for university essays.
So let's talk about the process. The first draft.
Yeah.
We won't read it, but generally, what do you expect?
Well, first, props for tackling a personal story. Usually first drafts show the core ideas, the passion, the story is there. But maybe the structure is a bit loose. Transitions could be smoother. Perhaps some grammar points like the passive voice or reported speech aren't quite integrated naturally yet. It's the raw clay.
Right. And then comes the second draft, after the teacher's feedback. That's where the magic happens.
That's the polishing stage. The teacher acts like a linguistic sculptor, pointing out where to tighten a sentence, where a stronger verb could work, how to make that passive voice sentence add real impact, ensuring the say-tell distinction is perfect, checking the flow with connectors. It's targeted guidance to elevate the writing.
So the goal is a final version, maybe even publishable on the school blog, students.AcademiaBSB.com.br blog. What would that look like?
Imagine that. Seamless flow, powerful vocabulary, grammar used not just correctly but effectively, the passive voice adding emphasis just right, reported speech sounding natural, and that idiom a turning point, feeling earned and impactful within the story. A piece that really showcases their journey and skill. That's the aim. Pre-end break.
And we're back for the final stretch. Wow, what an exploration today. We've gone from the nuts and bolts of grammar like say and tell, all the way to the mental game of being a deadline warrior.
Indeed. And speaking of warriors, let's give a huge shout out to Rayleigh and Sophia. Their class stats are seriously impressive, showing real progress at that B1 level.
Right. Check this out. Vocabulary growth of 23 words just recently, building up to a comprehensive lexicon repertory of 566 words, plus 45 minutes solid of oral fluency and speech engagement span, and get this, nearly 4 hours, 3 hours, 58 minutes, 44 seconds of listening wavelength. That is dedication.
It really is. And yes, okay, a phonetic deviation ratio of Nadegar 72% shows there's still some pronunciation work to fine-tune those sounds we talked about.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Exactly, but that's just part of the journey, isn't it? Every correction, every bit of practice gets them closer. They're doing fantastically.
Totally. Which, brings us to something. At Academia BSB, we've got this methodology right. It works. But, spoiler alert, you actually have to do the homework.
Gasps, dramatically shocking, I know.
But seriously, that's how you internalize all this stuff, how you make these insights truly yours. Consistent effort is key.
And to help with that consistent effort, make sure you review the bibliographic references from today. These PDFs are your essential guides for consolidating everything. You've got the links right here, one on say and tell, one on the passive form, and one on reported speech. Dive back into those.
Perfect. And looking ahead. Get ready for the UP-Sewing Linguistic Scope. We're going to tackle more passive forms: present, past, perfect, and future tenses. Let's do a quick role-play preview. Okay, pretend you're talking about a project, something that will be completed for you by someone else before next Tuesday. How would you say that using that future perfect passive?
Excellent question, hinting at future passive glory. A savvy manager, or perhaps a relaxed traveler awaiting arrangements, might say, "The project will have been finished by next Tuesday," or "My travel itinerary will have been confirmed by then." C. Action completed for you in the future. Effortless. For you, anyway. Short break.
As we wrap up this session, we want to leave you with a thought. Something about the very essence of choosing the right word.
There's a fantastic quote about this. The difference between the almost right word and the right word is really a large matter. 'Tis the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning.
Wow. Powerful. Who said that?
That gem comes from the one and only Mark Twain, Samuel Langhorne Clemens, as he was born. The American master of wit and language, writing back in the late 19th, early 20th century. Twain was known for skewering sloppy language. He deeply valued clarity, precision, the power of the exact right word, even if it was a simple one. He believed it was key to conveying truth and emotion.
And that quote, lightning bug versus lightning.
It perfectly captures what we've been talking about, doesn't it? Why we sweat the details between say and tell, why pronouncing though correctly matters, why every single word choice in your writing or speaking can either shed a little dim light, like a lightning bug, or illuminate brilliantly, like lightning itself. It's about impact.
A perfect thought to end on. Because ultimately, it is not only about the language, it is all about communication.